Welcome everyone today. My name is Mr. O, and I'm going to be explaining to you the SAT College Board Practice Exam 1, specifically number 16 through 18. If you want to see the videos that solve for the prior questions, please just follow us and watch from before. And I have other videos that explain the prior questions. And so for today, I'm going to go through number 16 through 18, go through the problem real quick, and then explain the problem right afterwards thoroughly. And so let me get started. So for number 16, t is greater than there. What's the value? Okay, this is important. This part. Okay, so t minus 2, t plus 2. Okay, well, this one get 2. Okay. So number 16, my final answer is 2. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to the answer real quick. And so for number 16, the question tells me that t is greater than 0. And it also tells me that t squared minus 4 equals to 0. And what is the value of t? That is the main goal. And so when I saw t squared minus 4, I automatically know that these are going to be what we call the sort of conjugates of each other. This one is sort of the conjugate based question. And so I could use two methods of factoring. Either there's the common core way, which is the box method, and this is the one you could use box method on, or whether or not you simply just foiling method where you factor them and break them apart. And these are all relevant to factoring. And so for this question, I knew that right off when I saw t squared minus 4, the conjugate portions are going to be whatever multiplies to 4 with the same exact number. And so it's going to be t minus 2, t plus 2 equals to 0. That is the same exact thing as this. This becomes this. And so when I am working through this problem and I see these components, I am able to break them apart into their individual components. So I know that I am solving for t, and thus when I break these apart, I know that this is what's going to happen. So it's going to be t equals to 2 and t equals to negative 2. There are two possible answers, but because t has to be greater than 0, I know that my final answer is going to be 2. And that concludes my explanation for number 16. And so just to continue on to number 17. Okay, so summer camp minus the length. The length represented by this AB. Okay, AB. Okay, so AB is 1800. AEB is going to be 1400. BD is 700. So BD is 700. And CD is going to be 800. And we're solving for X. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so I see. Okay, so my final answer is going to be 1600. Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to number 17 so quickly, and yeah, break it down for you. So for number 17, I'm just going to copy down the diagram, and I'm going to copy down the numbers. And the main reason is that when doing this problem, right, the labeling is sort of comes with it. And so a lot of times when I'm doing these problems, I am going to copy down exactly where to label and don't get myself confused so much. So I just want to do is get to the main key points. And so what happens is that in the instructions, when we're reading this problem, it tells me the bunch of lengths. So to tell me AB, EB, BD, and CD are represented by these exact numbers. And I was careful to do that. So like AB is 1800. So I'm just following along. I don't need to reread this whole thing. So EB is 1400. So I'm just following along. And it states that BD is 700. And it states that CD, right here, CD is 800. And I was very careful to label these because I don't want to mess that up. I don't want to get confused. I don't want to throw things off and whatever not. And so what I'm also wanting to note is that these two angles are equal to each other just because of corresponding angles. It's not very important for this question, but it's just important to note that this type of question that we are working with is a similar triangles question. So when I'm working through this problem, I just understand that these are two similar triangles that I'm working with and that their dimensionalities are supposed to be proportionate to each other. That means that it could be times 2, times 3, times half, but I know that it's going to be proportionate to each other. And thus, my end goal is to find AE. And what I noticed that helped me a lot was the fact that I know that this BD has to be proportionate to BE. It's because these two angles share these two angle sides. And so I know that BD, 700, and do we know 700, and BE is going to be 1400. That also means that because this side is proportionate to this side, I know that AE is going to be proportionate to CD. And I'm going to keep them relevant to the specific triangle. So smaller triangle to bigger triangle. And so it's going to be CD to AE. And so for this question, 1700 over 1400 actually is going to be just half. So half equals to, well, CD is 800 over AE. And very simply, if I do cross multiplication, I will know that AE times 1 equals to 1600. And that is what I'm looking for. X, or aka AE, equals to 1600, and that is my final answer. And that concludes my explanation for number 17. And now to just continue on to number 18, the question says this. According to the systems of equation above, okay, so 2x plus 2y plus 218, x plus 2y plus 225, okay. So I finally got the answer. I say x equals to 7. And now I'm going to explain to you how I was able to get to that answer so quickly. And so first things first, I'm just going to copy down the equation that is provided to you. So x plus 2y equals to negative 25. Okay, perfect. And so when I am doing this question, the important thing I notice is that it's a systems of equations. And there's two methods for the systems of equation. There's a process one called elimination, and the process 2 called substitution. But for this problem especially, I notice that these values are very small, they're pretty easy to use, and thus I wanted to use the process number 1, which is the process of elimination. And this is how the process of elimination works. Is the fact that I use both equations, and I want to cancel out one of these equations right off. And so for me, when I saw this problem, I thought, well, I want to get rid of the y, because in the end, my end goal is to solve for x. And so I saw, okay, well, I want to get rid of y, so I'm going to multiply this by negative 2. Because if I multiply by negative 2, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. And so multiplying this whole thing by negative 2. And be aware that I'm multiplying both sides by negative 2. And so by distributing, I'm going to recreate the equation. And so I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get this exact same equation as before, copy it down. And by the elimination process, negative 2y plus 2y cancels out. Negative 2x plus x is going to be negative x equals to negative 7 when you solve this out. But divided by negative 1, and it gives me the answer, which is x equals to 7. And that is going to be my final answer for number 18. And that's going to conclude my explanation for today. Please do subscribe to us, and we're going to continue to make more content like this. Thank you so much for watching.